guys, welcome to the channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I post fragrance related content on this platform. Now if you're joining me for the very first time, please consider subscribing and becoming part of the family. It costs absolutely nothing but helps with the growth of the channel. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Also remember to hit the like and share button, as those are very helpful in ensuring that our videos get to a wider audience. Today we have the House of Kilian fragrances in front of me here, and when I posted my entire fragrance collection, one of the comments that kept on coming was, do I know of inspirations of this and this and this? So I singled out the House of Kilian today to talk about some of the fragrances on the market that I can say are smell-alikes, are inspired by, and my thoughts on them. Okay, and before we get into the first one, again, I would like to say thank you so much for the massive support on our third release, number 3. We're sold out, guys. And the good thing about the numbers line, which is numero 3, meaning number 3, is it is a continuing line. It's not like, you know, the limited release, which is what we started with as Proud Mary, where when this is gone, it's gone. And a quick announcement, guys, on Proud Mary. Proud Mary is going for $124.99 through Labor Day. So to take advantage of the sale and grab yourself a bottle. Now, moving on to why we are here. I'm going to start with the elephant in the room. This is Fukama from the House of Gulf Orchid. I bought this one deliberately because a lot of the reviews that I was seeing were saying this smells like Love Don't Be Shy. And Love Don't Be Shy is a fragrance that I do have in my collection. However, I do not have it in full size. The reason why I decided not to buy Love Don't Be Shy in full size is I was conflicted as to whether I needed it in full size or I actually needed Oriana, okay, because this Love Don't Be Shy does vibe a lot like Oriana, you know, to me. So I went for the travel size, and yes, indeed, I can confirm that this does seem to borrow a lot or share a lot in common with Love Don't Be Shy. So that's the first recommendation, all right, that I'm going to put out there. Now, the next giant in the room is going to be, of course, Angel's Share. Let's see, okay, with Angel's Share, I ended up, guys, getting rid of all the Angel's Share smell-alikes in my collection, but I can give you recommendations like Cocktail Intense. This is not the Cocktail Intense. This is just how Cocktail Intense is also packaged. Like, this is actually their Whiskey Intense. I think this one is an Angel's Share on the Rocks smell-alike, okay? But I'm just showing you this, and I'm going to show you this bottle again when it comes to Roses on Ice, because they gave us something again in this bottle, which is French Avenue, okay? Now, I do not have any Angel's Share dupe left in my collection because, one, for some reason, every time I buy a Discovery box, whether it's from Skins, I think there was the Harvey Nichols ones last year. I think there was also was it the Harrods one or something? I keep getting Angel's Share thrown in 7.5 mls, including when I made a purchase from the House of Kilian itself. So when it comes to Angel's Share, guys, I've got enough to make a bottle. So I really did not need the clones. Because I have enough in terms of travel sizes, right? If you saw my collection when I was talking about putting the miniatures, most of those are Angel's Share. So the Angel's Share travel size of Kilian is 7.5 mls, and there's plenty to play around with there. And I ended up just decluttering all. And if I didn't mention, guys, if you buy directly from the Kilian website, right? If you want to buy directly from the Kilian website, they also have discovery sets. The discovery sets are $50. I think these ones are $50 as well as this is $50. And the $50 is redeemable in, you know, a purchase of a full-size bottle. So I just thought to throw it there. So yeah, when it comes to the Angel's Share, we've been given Cocktail Intense. I think Zimaya gave us Sharaf, you know, one that comes in a bottle like this, etc., right? So I do not have the actual Angel's Share. It's not going to make it in full size. I love the DNA. I love how Kilian, you know, played around with, you know, booze in that particular fragrance. But unfortunately, I will not have a cute bottle of it somewhere there in my collection because, you know, I honestly, hand on heart, have enough there in terms of samples to play around with. Now, next up, let me show you the Angel's Share on the Rocks. I like that the House of Kilian is expanding the Angel's Share line, and I don't know to what end it's going to go, whether they're going to continue giving us flankers after flankers. So I had this thrown in as a sample there. It is Angel Share on the rocks, and the difference between this one and the original Angel Share is the use of the citruses. It just does have a sweet citrus burst there at the top, and then it gets into what feels, of course, like the Angel Share being an extension of. And what I have within my collection that kind of smells like is going to be this Zamaya, Sharaf, and this one is Divine. So Sharaf blend, Divine. I think you can see even the frosted feel or the frostedness of the bottle there. Okay, so that's one I can recommend there if you were looking for an alternative too. And now, as for the Angel Share, the one that I would want to add to my collection is going to be Paradise. And this is how far I went to get a sample, guys. I was traveling. This was my ticket. They didn't have where they could pump it for me to put it as a sample. And I remember ripping off one of these, stickers that you have in your suitcases when you travel, because I wanted to have Paradise. I wanted to smell Paradise. I wanted to experience it, and to see whether it would be the first Angel Share flanker that I own. And yes, money permitting, I would certainly purchase Paradise. The use of the raspberry note in Paradise is amazing. However, Pour Me Wild by Paris Corner, if you want an affordable version to it, you could purchase this. This one has gone around, as smelling a lot like Paradise, but I cannot attest to whether the longevity is the same, etc., because as I said, I have just bought a sample, but the pop of the raspberry, the pop of the raspberry is the one thing that I can certainly say I absolutely love about the Paradise version. And then we have Can't Stop Loving You. Can't Stop Loving You I bought directly off the Kilian website. And this is a 7.5 ml. This is a mature, grown woman scent. Okay, it's going to have the softness of the Kilians, the softness of, or at least the Kilians that I've used, the feminine ones. There is a staple that, kind of is a continuation in what you will get from Women in Gold, what you will get from Voulez-vous coucher avec moi, that sort of thing. So this Can't Stop Loving You, I purchased as a miniature because I didn't know what to think of it, because it does take a direction where it feels so neroli-like. I don't know whether it's my nose that makes me smell that. I don't know. So purchased this, and then got this from the House of Paris Corner. If you're not new to this channel, you know that I came with this one, the Show Magnifique, and I told you that there's an uncanny resemblance to this. Okay, so I can maybe just throw it there for your own discretion, whether you want perhaps to try it. But I do get a likeness to Can't Stop Loving You in Show Magnifique, to an extent that I'm thinking of perhaps putting my coins on the latest Kilian, the one that's peach scented, instead of buying this one in full size. But I do appreciate it a lot. It's a long-lasting fragrance. It's beautifully done. Okay, and then next up is going to be a fragrance that I'm absolutely crazy about. You can see because I do have the hairspray as well. And it was after having the hairspray that I said, I think I have something that smells like this in my collection. I pulled this Atlantis, right? It's finished now, okay? There's nothing. I just left the bottle for reference. Pulled out this Atlantis, and I said, no, hell no. Because I've had this for a long time, and I could have never guessed that this would share a likeness to this hair mist, okay? So what am I saying, right? I ended up buying the Woman in Gold. No, this is not the one. This is Voulez-vous coucher avec moi. I ended up buying the actual Woman in Gold, and I love Woman in Gold. And I can certainly say, if you want a lighter take to it, remember I actually likened it to the hair mist, but it's not as light as the hair mist, but it's not as strong as the Woman in Gold. But it's certainly a recommendation I can throw out there. And I have had a full experience of both fragrances, because this is finished and I have the Woman in Gold in full size. Next up is going to be Black Phantom. I do not have Black Phantom in full size. I probably will not have Black Phantom in full size, okay, because this is very masculine to my nose. But I wanted to recommend what I have that's kind of closer to it without it being 100, which is this Wafa by Art Al Zafran. It feels like a fusion of the Phantom and Carlisle. So if you're into woody, masculine tone, spicy fragrances, then you probably will like Black Phantom. And I know that Black Phantom is a very, very popular for a reason. People absolutely love it, okay? The next fragrance I have is Roses on Ice. This is cucumber in a bottle, and I got this one with the purchase of the Kilians, okay? This is Roses on Ice. If you like cucumber, if you like aquatic scents, watery scents, fresh scents, that sort of thing. But it didn't quite hit it for me to say I'm going to rush and buy the real thing. However, I did have icy roses from this brand, okay, that did smell a lot like Roses on Ice. So if you're curious, you can, you know, look for icy roses from Fragrance Well. Okay, now what do I want to show you next up? I do have a fragrance, Rolling in Love, Falling in Love. They were going for Rolling in Love by Kilian. Let me see if I can just open it without breaking anything. Okay, this is what they were going for, right? This Rolling in Love, okay, which is this one. I do not have it in full size anymore. I ended up with just about a 15 ml for reference. Okay, this was thrown in one of the advent calendars as well. So yeah, but it's just a crowd pleasing, simple scent. And truly speaking, I get the same even from the real thing. There is a bit of some depth in the real thing, but it's not enough for me to say I'm going to rush and go grab myself a bottle. Okay, that is what I can say about that. Did I leave anything, Fairy Child? This I do not have. The real thing, I can show you the inspiration. A Fairy Tale by Zimaya is inspired by Kilian Straight to Heaven. Zimaya nailed this one, so I can attest to the fact that I love this one. Another fragrance I came with to you here, which I ended up buying in full size actually, is Smoking Hot. Okay, Smoking Hot I purchased in full size after trying Lattafa's Mashrabia. A lot of people were saying Lattafa's Mashrabia smells a lot like Smoking Hot. So I had the opportunity to go in store and smell it. And yes, there was a likeness to it. But the likeness was not enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to settle on this. What I ended up settling... Sorry, guys. Okay. What I ended up keeping in my collection is Western Shisha. Now, why I'm saying sorry, guys, this is actually Hypnotic Gold. This is Hypnotic Gold, but Western Shisha by French Avenue comes in exactly the same packaging, so I made a mistake on that. Western Shisha stayed, but it did not stop me from buying Smoking Hot, the real thing. Smoking Hot has a sophistication to it. Why I kept Western Shisha is it is a little bit playful there in the use of that apple shisha accord, okay? But it kind of misses like a smoky accord that I pull in this fragrance. So I still ended up getting, you know, the real thing. Now, I also got this sample thrown in by Kilian themselves. I don't know why they threw it in a sachet, but I guess maybe they had run out of the covers. Okay, this is Good Girl Gone Bad, right? This is Good Girl Gone Bad, all right? Now I'm going to show you a close-up. That's how Good Girl Gone Bad looks like. This is the vial, and before I had my nose on this, I had this Kismet for Women, okay, by Maison Alhambra. And I've always said it, guys, from day one, that this is not my favorite. There's something in this fragrance that I don't like. There's a sourness in this fragrance. It does say it has the use of apricot, but the apricot kind of feels as though it's unripened, that sort of thing. And yes, I can confirm, you know, that after getting the tester, okay, that is pretty much what Maison Alhambra was going for. However, I personally am going to say I do not like the Maison Alhambra one, and I do not like this one as well. Okay, it's not going there at the top of my Kilian favorites, not at all. You know, if I get money, I would rather buy something else. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi is the one I actually ended up buying, though I noticed on fragrance platforms people comparing it again to that Good Girl Gone Bad. This one has a sophistication about it. This one does not have that sour accord about it. okay, that about the Good Girl Gone Bad, but of course it does feel like the same nose. It does feel like the same nose, but I ended up purchasing Voulez-vous coucher avec moi, and I have not come across a fragrance that smells exactly like it. I'm trying to see if there is anything that I forgot. Liaison Dungarees, again, I purchased in full size, and I'm yet to come across a fragrance that I can recommend that smells like it. I know there must be a fragrance somewhere that I misplaced, okay, because I'm trying to think what else did I leave. I wish I'd actually put these things or these fragrances in their order. Okay, Cologne Shield of Protection. This to me smells very similar to Mandarino di Amalfi by Tom Ford, but this is just for me to throw it out there for people that may be curious as to what this fragrance is doing, because both this one and the Mandarino di Amalfi are not really on the affordable side. It's like me saying Love Don't Be Shy smells like Oriana, but both are not on the affordable side. So this is just for you to have sort of like a mental shortcut of, if you're curious as to what does this smell like, then that's what you're gonna get with that. What else do I have here that I haven't shown you? Unfortunately, the other ones, I do not have inspirations that I've come across, you know, that smell like them. For instance, the the UAE version. Okay, this one is going to be like Love Don't Be Shy, but don't buy it if you do not like oud, because there is a use of a smoky oud in Kilian Love, the UAE version. Okay, and then there is Moonlight in Heaven, same thing. I haven't come across a smell alike to that. I do have this, although I do not have the Real Thing. Okay, Double Black by Pandora, and this is from Paris Corner. Smells a lot like Back to Black. Very challenging fragrance, but if you love your fragrances on the niche, bold, unusual side, then you're going to love this one. I've been in store to smell Back to Black, and yes, money permitting, I would buy that fragrance. I love how oud it is. So this is just better an inspiration. It's not a Kilian. I just wanted to show you there, guys, and I think I'm just about done, because the last two that I left, I still haven't found smell alikes to this, which is, I don't need a prince by my side to be a princess, and this has got that matcha. It is also creamy, it's playful, it's fluffy, but I haven't come across a smell alike to this. However, it is on the affordable side of the Kilians anyway, okay? Where they have this line that is pricey. They have the Killer line, you know, in those Angel Share bottles that is pricey. But these have always been around the 100, around a little over 100 in terms of pricing. So if it works for you, you could perhaps purchase this, you know, outright, because it is somewhere there in the hundreds, and I've seen sometimes where this is actually discounted. So I don't need a prince by my side. Unfortunately, guys, I do not have a smell I like to recommend, just as I do not have a smell I like to recommend, you know, for Born to be Unforgettable. This uses a note of Coca-Cola, but of all the Kilians I have here, this is the one I'm going to say I do not care much for. It turns sour on my skin. Something about it just doesn't work for me, and I have not come across a smell alike of it. So just double checking to make sure that I've spoken about all of them. Okay, so Liaison Dungarees, what is this? This is Liaison Dungarees. We don't have a smell alike to that. And Moonlight in Heaven, I haven't come across a smell alike, you know, of that. But that's it, guys, when it comes to this video. And before I wrap up, thank you so much for supporting Macedon Perfumes. We're on our third release, which is numero 3, but we are going to make sure that we have it back in production, because the numbers line is continuing. We have a combo deal where you can buy both, or you can buy, you know, the 3 of them at the same time. On our limited release, once it's sold out, which is Proud Mary, once it's gone, it's gone. It is not coming back, guys, once it's gone. And you can use my code C15 at checkout. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, guys. And remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.